Good afternoon. It's Friday, October 30th, and this is your weekly shout out. Another fantastic week with some really awesome people here down in finance and IT. Thought I'd just summarize some of what happened. You can see, whoops, wrong way, the fruits of my result, or of our team result this last week. We had a great time, and thanks to Marjorie for putting together an awesome pumpkin carving contest or pumpkin decorating contest. I guess I was a little confused. I carved my pumpkin, but little did I know how much artistic talent there was out there. And you can see a couple of the examples behind me with Olaf and a Hawaiian pumpkin that made the score this week, and it was pretty cool to see everyone come together and bring a little levity and excitement to the office, and for people to come from around the city and see a little bit of the artistic nature of the team. So kudos to everyone for participating. It was really fun, and I was really glad to see everyone kind of lighten up and get into the spirit. Speaking of lightening up and getting the spirit, big kudos to Tracy and the rest of the team for organizing an awesome welcoming wagon for Zena this week. In perfect finance and IT style, we brought about food and coffee, and thanks to Ryan for doing a great job for decorating Zena's office with balloons and flowers, and for Shelly and everyone else for coming by and saying hi, and for doing the tours at different facilities. We're doing a much different approach with Zena, and we have a full onboarding plan for Zena to make sure that she hits the ground solid, and that we're here to support her. So if you have things in mind that you think that we need to be thinking about for Zena to make sure that she's successful in her job, by all means stop by, say hi to me, let Ryan know, let Zena know, and we'll make sure we get it on the charts and books in terms of things that we want her to learn over the next couple of months. So one of the things that we talked about this week, and a little bit about GFOA that I want to give an update on, was essentially their next visit, which is scheduled for November 9th and 10th. One of the pieces that we've been talking about and stressing is that GFOA is just one piece of, I think, what we're trying to focus on in the department. The other piece, which is really the strategy and the smart piece, but the other piece that we've all I think found agreement on is that having a healthy organization where there's strong teamwork, there's commitment around ideas, clarity about purpose, and that we focus on our team results is something that everyone has bought in as a model for us moving forward. And to that extent, we earlier, or just yesterday, I passed out some slips asking for what do we name this process, and I've got some exciting names, and we'll run them by the transition team, whether it's the best fit, better fit, fitter, which could be the fitness or finance and IT engagement results. There's a lot of ideas out there that people came up with, so I appreciate people being creative. Now, just switching a little bit ahead of what's going on at the City Council next week, we've got a couple things I want to let you know about. We've got a couple new employees coming on board. They're going to be introduced at the City Council. That's Exandria Fowler, who comes to us from the County of San Luis Obispo, and she's our new Deputy Director for Long Range Planning. She'll be introduced at the same time as Zena. No coincidence that we have two women being involved. That's just the way things turned out, and we've tried to make something up about the whole thing, but I guess we haven't been creative enough. But if you want to come and support Zena in her introduction at the City Council, it'll be at 6 o'clock on Tuesday evening. That night, later that day, we'll be having the public hearing on the levy assessments on the T-bid, and then there'll be the second reading for the water efficient landscape standards. Actually, it's the first reading. We'll also have a hearing on the Mission Plaza cedar tree, in which the City Council is going to take a look at the planting of the tree and figure out, does it make sense in light of the Mission Plaza planning work that's going to be underway, and do we want to stick with our current approach of bringing a tree in every year. We got also the police department strategic plan. It's a 5-year strategic plan that the police department's been working on for the last couple of years. They're really excited to bring that along. It charts out both people needs, infrastructure needs, technology needs, and a plan to kind of make sure that they're maintaining the positive culture and the community-oriented policing department that we have today. We have one last item that night, which is on council compensation, which is an outside committee that essentially looks at makes sure that, what is our council members being compensated at, and is that appropriate, or should there be any sort of adjustments. Looking ahead, we do actually have a light agenda forecast for the 17th of November, in which we have a pretty significant item, which I think could and will shape the city for many years to come, which is a discussion of the Cal Poly Master Plan. I think this is the third or fourth time that the Cal Poly's come to the City Council. And they're sharing, I think, a lot of the feedback that they've received regarding their physical growth. Where are they going to put housing? Where are they going to put academic and research space? How are they going to adjust their circulation network? And then from the city's perspective, what does it mean for us in terms of services? What does it mean in terms of transportation impacts, water impacts, wastewater impacts? So there are things for us in finance and IT to be thinking about is, what is it going to mean for us in terms of, the impacts, the ripple effects, the indirect effects that we may experience. So I'll certainly keep you posted. So now shifting over to some progress this week in accounting. We are at the very end of closing out the books, the final steps being made to fix assets in time for the auditors, who will be coming all next week. Actually was on the phone today with Mary Bradley, who's been talking to our auditors on some of the new GASB rules regarding pension and how to integrate the pension reporting requirements under GASB 68. We sent all the information off to Joe Aguilar for preparation of the development impact fee report. Vilma did a great job, got the state controller's report out, the transit report out, the street reports, the compensation report out, the special districts report out, and we're monitoring our bond payment deadlines and our continuing disclosure requirements. So a lot happening in that area, and I do want to appreciate Vilma and the team. They've done a great job meeting all those requirements and pulling all that information out of the Finance Plus system. One of the great things that I have in playing the role right now as both the assistant city manager and the interim finance and IT director is that I get exposed to a lot of people outside the city, and that's something that I want to make sure that we do for the rest of the city employees. It's something I've heard by finance and IT employees is, we need to get better out there more and talk to other city departments about what their needs are and how we can support them. And to that extent, I did have a chance to bring Nick Orban along today with James David, 2 black belts from the Peak Academy program, over to Sierra Vista, and we got to see their whole lean daily management program. And I got to tell you, it was pretty amazing. Not really high tech, but essentially what it is that they have a program where every single morning their top executive team meets with all of their managers, and they walk through of what's going on in the department. They have performance measures that have been developed by each of the various different departments and programs. They go through some key indicators, and then they actually walk each of the facilities, and all the program managers walk them through all of their key performance measures. And then they're asked a couple key questions. How are you doing? What can we do to help you? And is there anything that we can do to get stuff out of your way? They ask another question as well, which is there anything that they need to know about patient safety and employee safety? Obviously, those are important questions in a hospital environment. But I think the big takeaway for me is that they had a pretty simple and elegant approach to how they do performance management, and it really queued up some thinking for both for Nick and James and myself as we think about our work with GFOA. Is there some things that are being done locally that we can import here to our department that can really keep our eyes on the things that matter to both our city partners, whether it's the departments we serve or our community partners. This week in IT, some really significant projects in terms of they kicked off the ECC audio recording update, which will replace the existing and failing recording equipment. And the system records all of the 911 police business calls and all radio communication calls. They completed phase 1 of the City Hall remodel project. You've certainly heard the pounding and the drilling, and now thanks to all of the hard work and coordination by James and Miguel and Steve and the rest of the team, the city manager and city council and mayor are now in the new north wing of City Hall, and I think everyone's really happy to be moved over there. They're now shifting their attention to, the southeast wing, whatever you want. I guess I'm a little challenged on what the directions are here, but nonetheless, they finished up that work. We did get some new carpeting installed this week in the network administrator's office and had some reconfiguration of furniture. And we completed our meet and confer with Slocia on the new control system administrators. And we're now proceeding with the EOPs here shortly. Miguel and Steve did a great job this week at the department head meeting, presenting the idea of cloud-based computing with the introduction of Office 365 and another product called Box. And actually, they're going to be leading a pilot project with some work with the department heads and other teams to see if that is a viable kind of platform and architecture for improving our connectivity and collaboration, both between programs with departments and outside the city. Last but not least is that Eric and Simon are diligently working towards the data migration with EnerGov. They made some great progress in answering some questions, and as I understand it, as of today, we're in the queue at this point to have that data moved over, and then we'll be thinking about the next steps as it relates to EnerGov. Another great week in finance and IT. I've been working this week on an article for Slow What for next month's employee newsletter. Please keep a lookout for that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the awesome experience that I've had here in the warm reception that I've got in finance and IT, some of the hopes and dreams that I've heard from people during the course of our interviews, and some real optimism that I've seen both on the team and outside the city in terms of the individual abilities of people to come together and embrace both the tactical and technical ways that we want to improve our services, but at the same time making sure that we're taking care of each other and building upon our work as a team. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Read Tim Bocum's email about being safe tomorrow night as we have little ones running around the street. And looking forward to next week, and appreciate all the hard work.